If you want to get in the groove, mask up to get down, and make sure you stay 6 feet from stardom. Today, on A Place of Our Own, how the stars way above the stars can become major influencers in their own right when it comes to whom you're crushing on. And if you classify Lana Condor as a good example, you'll want to stick around. What's up? I'm Pete Charles Sesko, and welcome to Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own, a place designed for any millennial or baby boomer who wants to bring Hollywood home on a budget. As you know, every interaction you have with your favorite celeb or fellow fandom friend is a very important learning opportunity. So when it comes to educating yourself about the wonderful world of pop culture, we're all in this together. That's why TSI is your first and coolest teacher. There's a reason why astrology isn't taught in most schools across the country, and why there's also a skeptical committee on astrology. Why? Because most of the time, for skeptics like us, we're relying on what lies beyond this mortal soil to determine our horoscopes is just a bunch of ballyhooey. But what if one magazine, the most unlikely of them all, gave astrology an ultimate sense of legitimacy, or at the very least, made it a bit more laughable for the skeptics? Either way, there's a lot to learn about how the stars determine your love life and everything else by reading Cosmopolitan. In March 2019, Editor-in-Chief Jessica Pels introduced the new astrology section, 153 predictions from the 10 best experts. We're going to learn more about that. Plus, hey, it doesn't help to have Lana Condor involved, because I'm not a big to all the boys I'd love before stan. But at the same time, on the same token, it wouldn't hurt either, because we're all about finding stars. Everywhere we go, up and down. So, purchase for 50% off the price of 99 cents, that's 45 cents pocket change. We have Cosmopolitan's March 2019 issue with Lara Jean Son Covey on the cover. To all the girls finally getting theirs. We're looking for stars in all the right places, so keep looking up, Stargazers! The Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own is moments away. As somebody who believes that there is an equal number of stars in the sky and on the ground, I believe that this is an intergalactic merger of two worlds. And pardon the slang, but I am so here for it. We'll get to the astrology section a bit later on. But for right now, I feel like it's time to properly induct Lana Condor into the TSR library, because the only context I've ever brought up to All the Boys I Loved Before, and its sequel, on Netflix, was in a sense of parody. You know, To All the Souls I've Wooed Before. That was the title for my Valentine's Day video, which is all about wooing your bae or your bae-elect in the kitchen. Link below if you want to check that out. I'm super proud of that one, and that's not even counting just the title. Lana Condor's story is on page 108, and she dedicates her article to all the girls finally getting theirs. And her article is pretty fun. I'll give it that. It's pretty fun. But we'll save that for later, because I'm not a super big, To All the Boys I Loved Before stan, even though my mother owns Netflix, and she too hasn't even seen it. I want to bring up this one-page ad for Kylina for very good reason. It doesn't look like very much on this one-page ad on the surface. But if you watch a commercial break, and for 60 seconds you see this Kylina ad, I want you to stop and pay attention, because there is one very good reason why you should. Take a look.
You aim high in everything you do. You have high standards. After all, it's your body, your life, and your future. Shouldn't the same go for your birth control?
If you're looking for low-hormone pregnancy prevention, aim high and go low. Meet Kylina, the smallest, lowest hormone 5-year IUD that's highly effective and reversible anytime, in case your plans change. Don't use Kylina if you have a pelvic infection, get infections easily, or have certain cancers. Less than 1% of users get a serious infection called PID. If you have pelvic or stomach pain, or if Kylina comes out, talk to your healthcare professional. Kylina may attach to or go through the uterus. Pregnancy with Kylina is uncommon, but can be life-threatening and may cause loss of pregnancy or fertility. Ovarian cysts may occur but usually disappear. Bleeding and spotting may increase in the first 3 to 6 months and remain irregular. Periods over time may become shorter, lighter, or may stop. Kylina does not protect against HIV or STDs.
Aim high and go low with Kylina.
Ask your HCP about the lowest hormone 5-year IUD.
Heck yeah. Now, to this model's credit, she looks an awful lot like either Laura Milano or Catherine McNamara, but there's no competition. Lucy Hale lights up screens around the world, small and big. I always get giddy whenever I see her ad for Kylina come up on the television. And mainly on A&E, at least that's why I see it when I'm watching First 48 marathons. Speaking of Pretty Little Liars, and to all the boys I loved before, continuing on, you might recognize her as Margot, but I recognize her as the original A, Mona. Janel Parrish, or Janel Parrish Sloan to be technically correct with you, but it just makes me a little sore to say that. On the rise, the original A and star of the PLL spin-off The Perfectionist tells us the truth on her guilty pleasures, her happy place, what she used to worry about then, but doesn't anymore now. And she also disses on something that gets on her last nerve, so this is a quick casual convo with Janel that is worth your time. And she just looks like an absolute smoke show here. Rockers casual, that's the best way to put it. Rockers casual. Now, if this magazine did not include Janel Parrish, you would not be seated right here. And now we move on to something a little more controversial, especially these days. Yeah, on the surface it doesn't look very controversial. It just looks like an average, really good-looking ad for Biore with Madelaine Petsch, Cheryl Blossom for Riverdale. She's a smoke show too, but I am not a Riverdale stan and have no plans on becoming one anytime soon. Very good reason for that. I'll bring that up in a second, but let's just see. I have not opened this up yet. It says, strip today. It's oddly satisfying. Oh, we'll see. Peel back for a free strip. Is there a free strip? Let's find out. Be very careful. Don't you cheat me. Ah, here it is. Somebody's 10 minutes away from a cleaner face. Find Biore products at your local retailer. So this is the strip, Biore Ultra Nose Strip, 1 Ultra Deep Cleansing Pore Strip. Your blackheads are freaking out right now. It should say your redheads because, well, Madelaine Petsch is one of the sexiest redheads on television. I'll give her that. She's also a pretty decent YouTuber. Subscribers in the millions column. I should also mention that I saw a Riverdale Season 2 DVD set at the Red, White, and Blue thrift store in Patterson on McLean Boulevard. 1 disc was missing from that. I believe it was a 4-disc set. So, I didn't buy it. I refuse to get shortchanged again. And now for breakup music for the Bachelor or Bachelorette. Listen, if you can break up on TV, you can break up anywhere. And Ben Higgins from Season 20 of The Bachelor and Becca Kufrin from Season 14 of The Bachelorette, who recently split from her final pick, Garrett, after 2 years. They offer up tips on how to cope with the breakup, during and after. And I believe this brings us to a point of something of a milestone. We have now included all 3 kings of content on this channel in this particular series for Back to School Month. Back to School Week, Back to School Month, whatever. This is way more than a month in my opinion, the amount of videos they're getting. But hey, the 3 kings of content are, on this channel, Pretty Little Liars, America's Test Kitchen, and the Bachelor franchise. That includes The Bachelorette and all of its other spin-offs, past, present, and future. 2 of those elements are featured in this issue, and 1 is kept completely separate from Cosmopolitan as a whole because it just works out that way, I'll be honest with you. So there you go. You got a little bit of everything in this series, and that's what makes this the coolest Back to School series you will ever see. So, let's go on and go to Lana Condor, hold the phone! It's finally almost spring! Let these juicy reads and this flirty fashion, full-face beat beauty and horoscope overload distract you until it's warm out. Coming up next, the main article, Lana takes the lead. Ladies and gentlemen of the A-list, meet your competition! With To All the Boys I'd Loved Before, Lana Condor became an overnight success and the reigning queen of Netflix. Now hold the phone. What about Zoe Kane, Millie Bobby Brown, a plethora of Academy Award winners and nominees in original Netflix films and non-original films that have found mighty success on that streaming service? You can't please everyone. Now she's busy rewriting the Hollywood rules thanks to a big new show on Sci-Fi, an epic real-life love story with Anthony Della Torre, a musician, and lots of red carpet nights that end the way all true fairy tales should. Eating pizza in bed. This is Helen Junn's article with Ben Roch's photography and James Worthington Debolay's styling, tying it all together. If you look closely, you can see which designers made up the individual components of her wardrobe as a whole. In summary, this talks about how she deals with her newfound notoriety delicately, thanks to the success of To All the Boys on Netflix, her relationship with Anthony Della Torre, how they first met, and how the relationship blossomed over time, and how fans tried to prove somewhat of a hindrance with their constant sipping of Lana and Noah off-camera because of their intense chemistry on camera, and how they have failed. And what's next for her career. This is just a tiny Cosmo quiz, and really, you don't see that nowadays in these issues. I have a real fear of having bad breath, the way I'm most like Lara Jean, being a homebody staying in. What about those red carpet nights? I'm so different from Lara Jean in this way. I clap back at obvious and all bullying. One thing I learned about love is, no matter what, make time. No matter how busy you are, where you are, etc., make the time to be together. A fictional character I'd make out with, Troy Bolton, because Zac Efron. Well, that is you. My favorite part of my body? My nose. Because everybody likes to squish it when they see it. Dear Cosmo readers, I love you, and I am beyond over the moon to be undercover. It's an honest-to-God dream come true! You're so beautiful! Okay, I might not be a huge To All the Boys I Loved Before stan and have no plans on becoming one anytime soon, but I gotta give Lana Condor a lot of respect here. Acknowledging the fans, and I do believe that acknowledging the readers of Cosmopolitan, like myself, that's the equivalent of acknowledging her fan base right there. That is so paramount, because, you know, people like her owe a lot to her fans. And she does. She knows it. However, for those who continue to ship Lana and Noah to a point what's become a hindrance to Lana and Anthony's off-camera relationship, which lasts for a number of years and continues to this day, it's this. If you say you support me, why would you hurt someone I love? This also talks about how her ethnicity played a major role in her relatability, both her character and herself, to many To All the Boys stans, and those who haven't heard of Lana Condor, but I think, like me, will find a newfound respect for her. I'm still not watching To All the Boys anytime soon, and neither is my mother. We are not really big rom-com people. That's it. And now for the astrology section. All the astro stuff you need to know this month. On the right side here of the left page, page 142, a brief summary of what to expect. The table of contents. Going down. What is Pisces season about to do to you? You'll find out on page 144. Need an excuse for your bad behavior? We got you on page 144 as well. Your horoscope for March, page 145. Ready for Mercury retrograde? I never knew what Mercury retrograde was. Is it some sort of chemical that we don't know about in the table of chemicals? The table of elements? Go to page 146 to stop freaking out. Here's exactly what to spend your cash on according to your sign, page 146. The reason you should maybe let the zodiac dictate your sex life, page 147. the F does spring equinox actually mean? The answer is on page 148. Relationship issues? The universe's problems to blame. Turn to page 148 for what to do. You're feeling smarts. Find out why on page 150. Did I just say smarts? I never even watched Smarts before, other than that awesome Morrison parody with Star Wars. You know, the YouTube channel Smarts. This actually says emotes. We're turning everything into millennial slang, and it's absolutely degrading. Did you know astrology school is a thing? It actually is. There's actually an Academy of Astrology somewhere in Arizona. Head to class on page 150, and finally, we map out your luckiest day on page 152. If you consider what's your sign to be less of a cheesy pickup line and more of a totally acceptable way to greet strangers, you've landed in the right place. Welcome to Cosmo's bigger, better, brand newer 8th-page astrology section. Starting with this issue, we're dedicating a chunk of the magazine each month to breaking down how the stars are influencing your love life, career, friendships, bank accounts, and literally everything else. In fun, actually useful ways, no astrology school degree required, a real thing we'll get to later, because we know you're thirsty for way more than just monthly horoscopes. This is your zodiac key. Let's get it all right here in frame. I am a Sagittarius because I was born between November and the 2nd. November 22nd and December 20th. I was born December 2nd, so that automatically makes me a Sagittarius. And yet, I don't believe in all this horoscope nonsense. I believe it's just a lot of BS. But actually, there are a lot of people out there who depend on their weekly, daily, monthly horoscopes because, for some reason or another, they actually believe that the galaxy determines your fate. Your future lies in the hands of the stars in the sky, as well as they do on the ground in Tinseltown. Weird. For the record, Alicia Kelly, who's also a certified astrologist, is a Cosmopolitan contributor, and she actually did a little series called Star Chart with, who else? Lana Condor! I guess in anticipation of her Cosmopolitan cover issue. And so, with that said, I gotta give it all 5 claps, if for no other reason than we have the pretty little liars mentioned in this book. Janel Parrish. All that said, you'd be surprised at what Cosmopolitan teaches you. You just might learn something from this magazine every day. So teachers, I never thought I'd ever say this, but it'd probably do you good to keep at least 1 or 2 issues of Cosmopolitan in the teacher's room. Skim a few pages and you might actually come up with a really cool and very fun lesson plan for your students. Especially if they are hardcore fans of Netflix rom-com films. For those who are still skeptical about the value of astrology in Cosmopolitan from here on out, maybe you want to take a look at a conversation with Jessica Pels and CBS This Morning correspondent Vladimir Dudias in this week's IRL 101. It explains the need for astrology in Cosmopolitan magazine and why there is such a need in the first place.
I gotta ask you, in years past, astrology was always something that you found at the back of a magazine. It was a little 4 or 5 sentences. This is what your day or your week or your month is gonna look like. What's changed?
Well, so the appetite from our audience for astrology content is huge. Our traffic to astrology content online has increased 128% year over year. 74% of my readers have told me that they are, quote, obsessed with astrology.
74%?
74%, and 72% check their horoscope every day. So when I took over the magazine, I knew that the single page of monthly horoscopes that traditional women's magazines have done for millennia just wouldn't cut it anymore. And so what I did is I introduced a 9-page section every month to our magazine that's dedicated entirely to astrology. That's 10% of our magazine. We're just seeing a ton of success and interest here.
Was the interest in astrology always there? Or is it just now in 2019 that there are just a lot of millennials, including your readers, 74%,
One of the beauties of Cosmo is that we reach so many people of varying ages and demographics. We reach 81 million readers every month, most of whom are millennials, but there are a lot of millennials moms and millennials aunts and sisters and friends. And they have always been interested in astrology. It's just that for the younger generations, they feel more value in it. They perceive more value in astrology, and there are a couple of reasons. The first is that millennials self-report more stress and less certainty about their future than any generation before them. They're also less religious than any generation before them. So they are looking for guidance and they are looking for structure. I think one of the misconceptions about millennials and astrology is that they're using it mostly as a predictive tool, which they certainly are. That's part of the value. It's part of the fun and the social cachet when we can all sort of collectively moan about Mercury going retrograde. But the real value is insight into ourselves, how we work, why we work, how other people around us work. And so we're looking for a shorthand that helps us understand the world around us quickly. And if I know that you're a Sagittarius, I know before we even sit down together that you're fun-loving and adventurous and that you like to read, and I know what I can ask you about. What's on your nightstand right now, you know?
Dude, he's like trying to run away.
Class is dismissed for the day, but if you missed any classes, get caught up by clicking the link in the description below, which will take you to the Too Cool for School playlist, which also includes videos from last year's series. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to subscribe for when it comes to bringing Hollywood home and to the classroom on a budget. TSR is your first and coolest teacher. We'll see you next time on the flip side on A Place of Our Own.